All right. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and baggage droppers around the world, welcome to another episode of Drop Your Baggage. This is where we make negative emotions vanish into thin air, to where we drop our baggage and pick up our power. Before we get into the show, though, I'd ask you to do a big deed of the day, your good deed of the day, and press the like button. If you are on YouTube, you will drop the YouTube algorithm on someone, and this video can be a wonderful blessing. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, please, I am so blessed to have every single guest on here, and especially this one. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the most amazing Tasha Thomas. We were high school classmates. She came in our freshman year together. Tasha, you go ahead and introduce yourself to anybody that doesn't know you.
Hi guys, baggage droppers. I'm Tasha. There's not much to say, I don't think. I'm from Cincinnati originally. I live in Dayton now. My last name is officially Davis. I got married five years ago. Yep. I'm a psych major at Rice State. I work with kids now, which is hilarious because I am not a big kid person, but I love my job, so I get to help families, and that's the most important thing. I'm nervous as hell. I'll be completely honest. Nervous. I don't know what's getting ready to come up and come out, so yeah, forgive whatever snot, tears, cursing, whatever you say, but I'm just gonna go with it and see whatever the universe wants me to release. And prayerfully it blesses somebody. So
You're the best. Let's go. So of course Tasha had the option of dropping anger, sadness, or fear, and you chose, or I chose. Never mind, I chose it. Well, she asked me.
It was a mutual decision. We're gonna release some sadness, some stuff.
Yes. She was like, well, it don't matter. I was like, hey, what do you want to release? And she was like, well, it don't matter. What do you think I should release? I was like, well, nobody's released sadness yet. Of course, she's down like she's brown. So it's about to go down, if you will.
Yeah, man. You're a poet and you didn't know it? Okay, I see you.
Hey, we're having way too much fun.
No, sorry, back to business. My bad. Let me focus. Get my Zen off real quick.
I love it. Here we go. All right, so what we are about to do is get me all messed up here. We are about to do is a technique called mental and emotional release. It is a technique that helps people get rid of their negative emotions, limiting beliefs, and negative self-talk. And in order to do this correctly, this guided meditation, all you have to do is three things. Number one, you have to use your imagination.
Okay.
You can do that?
Mm-hmm.
You sure?
Yeah. Right. I'm a little rusty, but yeah, I can do that.
Number two, you have to follow directions.
Okay.
All right. And number three, you have to trust the process. Know that I'm your guide and I'll be leading you through this easily and effortlessly.
Okay.
Awesome. All right. So we're going to go ahead and use that imagination right here, right now, because this is timeline work. This is a neuro-linguistic programming technique called timeline therapy. So we're going to create an imaginary timeline. So if your past could be to your left, to your right, or behind you, where's your past?
In the center. Can I choose in the center?
Okay. You're already not following directions.
All right, okay.
Here we go.
Well, no, for real. Okay, so left, right, or behind me? Behind me.
Behind you? Where's your future?
in front of me for sure. Okay. Sorry.
Hey, that works out for me. If it works out for you, it works out for me.
Okay, so past behind me, future to the left of me.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I like it. It's different. Yeah. And new. Already using that imagination. Here we go. All right. So we're going to release some sadness. Okay. What is something, first of all, what is something that makes you sad?
Missing my parents.
Yeah.
Yeah. Damn it, Charles. Damn it. Yeah, missing my parents.
Yeah. Now, I know your father died when our freshman year in high school.
Yeah.
Yeah. He had to be young.
We're 13.
How did he pass?
So he was a big dude anyway,
mm-hmm.
and he had kidney stuff going on, and then he ended up having pneumonia, and it put him in the hospital. And the whole situation is weird because he's always had lower blood pressure, even for a big dude. He always had lower blood pressure, but the hospital didn't know that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he was doing better. He was actually, like, oddly enough, the day he was supposed to come home was the day that he died. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, he went home all right. He just didn't come back home with us, right? So, trying to think how my mom explained it to me. I was in Spanish class. I know that. I know that it was around like 125, 126, something like that in the afternoon when he passed. His blood pressure had bottomed out in the hospital. Like prior to the hospital had been just pumping him with all this medicine and everything, trying to get his blood pressure back up. And he and my mom had just had a conversation literally like 11 that morning. And she was bringing him something to eat on her way to work. And when she came in, they were working on him and pumping him with all this stuff. And she was like, what the hell is going on? And they were like, his blood pressure is too low. And she was like, no, his blood pressure has always been that low. That's just how his body is. What the fuck are you doing? And he was looking at her like, get them off of me, right? But by the time that everything was said and done, his blood pressure had bottomed out. He couldn't come back from everything that had been done. Yeah. So eventually they had to tell her, we're going to take him off, the ventilators and everything, and she, talked to him. They were reading the 23rd Psalm together. And they're kind of to a point where he couldn't repeat what she was saying. And he was having trouble breathing and everything. And she was just like, go to the light if you see it. We'll be fine. And he just took this long sigh and passed. That's the real short version. But yeah.
Whoa. Wow, man. Wow. My condolences for your dad.
Thank you.
So, and your mom, she passed not too long ago, yeah?
8 years ago. That one still hurts. That one. You couldn't have told me that my mom wasn't going to be here. You couldn't have told me that. She had a stroke. Well, let me back up. My mom, for her to be a nurse, she did not take care of herself like she should have, first and foremost. Mm-hmm. She had diabetes. She had high blood pressure. She had like bad cholesterol. Like there are things that she just should have known better. But my mom's the kind of person, she'll take care of everybody else and take care of herself later. Mm-hmm. So she did that literally to the grave, right? So she was having some money problems, having job problems, stuff like that. And the stress of all of that, she was in court for taxes and had her first stroke there and didn't know it was a stroke. She felt her face go limp. And she thought it was like, was it cerebral palsy or something like that, where your face droops? That. She thought it was that. And she went home and it got worse, right? So my uncle, after like a day or two, took her to the hospital. Gonna find out, like, because then she was telling me that she was seeing two, and it was weird, right? So my uncle finally takes her to the hospital. I get down to Cincy, as fast as I can, and so she had, I forget what kind of stroke they called it. It wasn't a TIA at first. She started having those later on, but she started having strokes, and from the first stroke, she was, in rehab. She was trying to get better, stuff like that, but she couldn't go back home. She tried to, but she lived in a townhouse, had stairs. She was like scooting to get up the steps and down the steps, and it just wasn't. So I was just like, well, you're coming to Dayton. Period. Like, you're not even, you don't have the right to argue. Like, I'm taking over. You're coming to Dayton. I'm taking care of you. You don't have to work. I got it. Whatever. So I moved her up. Me and my now husband, me and him just took everything out of a two-bedroom townhouse that I'd been in since I was 13 and put it in my little one-bedroom apartment. It was the saddest thing I've ever seen. It was so packed. Oh my God. But I eventually got us a two-bedroom apartment, and I just took care of her. I had her on a schedule. I had her blood sugar regulated, blood pressure regulated, had her home health care aid. Like, don't ask me how I did any of this, because Charles, I swear, this was nothing but God.
Amen.
And shaking and letting stuff happen. Like, some of it's still a blur, because I don't know how I did it. But as much as I did, it wasn't enough. And that part sucks, because I promised her I'd never put you in a nursing home, because with my grandma being in one, we knew what it was, and I knew that I wasn't going to get my mom the kind of care that she was, because my mom, to me, like the best nurse I'd ever seen. And that's not even on like me being biased because it's my mom. No, like, I've seen some of these nurses and CNAs that just don't care, and my mom did. And I knew I wasn't going to get her that kind of care up here. I knew I wasn't. So I promised her I'll never put you in one. And one of her final strokes before we put her in a nursing home, the social worker told me and my aunt, like, she can't come home with you. Because I'm sitting there trying to figure out how I can get a ramp, we already got her wheelchair, already got her home health care aid. Like, we can make this work.
Right.
And I'm hard-headed and stubborn, and I'm going to do it if I can do it. And the social worker was like, it's not safe. She needs too much. You don't have the ability to do it the way that it would need to be done for her, unfortunately, Next to losing her, the hardest day of my life, because I felt like I lied to her. And then put her in a nursing home. I knew that broke her.
Yeah.
I knew it did. And her having to do therapy and everything, she wasn't with it. She would try because she wanted to come home, but eventually it got to a point where she couldn't get out of bed. She couldn't feed herself. Like, it was a very slow progression, but fast progression, because all of this was in a matter of like 2 years. And on top of all of that, the stroke caused her to have early onset dementia too. And that was hard. But the one thing about it was like me and her promise, like, she'll never forget who I am, because I couldn't deal with that. And so I lost her before I lost her, if that makes sense, because she stopped talking. Maybe she died in July. I stopped hearing her voice in March. So her voice was gone, but she would look at me and I knew she knew who I was. So that was enough.
Yeah.
So, so it was funny. I wasn't going to go see her. Right. I'm giving the real, like, try to fast track, right, the story. But I wasn't going to go see her. And my spirit was like, nah, go see her. Right. And so I was like, all right, this was July 14th. So I go see her. It's like maybe 1 or 2 o'clock. I had a hair appointment. So I was like, well, I'll go see her. And then, I'll come back tomorrow. She'll see my hair done. She'll, it'll brighten her day to see my hair done. She always like seeing my hair done.
Yeah.
And we were in there and we were talking, and I read a little bit of the Bible to her. I forget what I read, but I read a little bit of the Bible to her. And she just looked at me, and I said, I love you, Mommy. I'll see you tomorrow. And she looked at me, and her eyes, they looked sad, but she gave me the I love you too look. And that was that. So I got my hair done, and then I didn't know that the nursing home had been trying to call me. I had no idea, right? But because my phone didn't ring. And so my aunt called my husband and was like, find my baby. I didn't know any of this until afterwards, right? Like, I got home, like, I got in my car. I left my house. I left my friend's house about 10. Got home, got me something to eat. I'm sitting there watching A Different World. And I'm sitting there smashing on some McDonald's, chilling.
Mm-hmm.
And Ryan comes in, and he cuts my TV off. And I looked at him like, what the hell are you doing? Why are you cutting my TV off? What's up? And he was like, I got something to tell you, and I just need you to listen to me. And I'm like, okay, what's up? Your mom passed. What? Like, I don't know how to explain. You know how when you hear something and it just feels like the whole room gets mute?
Yeah.
Like it gets like stupid quiet, and you almost kind of hear like a real high pitch noise, something like that. That's what it felt like, right? And so I was like, no, she didn't. I was just there with her this afternoon. She's not there. We talked about it. And he was like, nah, your aunt called me. She really passed. And so I was like, no, she didn't. No, stop playing. So then I called the nursing home. And I was real cool with the nursing staff. And as soon as the nurse heard my voice, she just started apologizing. And I dropped my phone. I let out a scream that to this day I couldn't make that sound again, even if I wanted to. Like, it was like the loudest scream I think I've ever made in my life. And so then I had to go to a nursing home, identify the body and all that crap. And so Ryan gets me into the car, and like the closer we got, like none of it felt real. Like, I still remember being in the car. Like I'm visualizing this in my head like right now. Like, I remember getting in the car. I remember trying to call people. No one's answering the phone. I reached one of my really good friends at the time, and I'm just like, I need somebody else here with me because I can't do this by myself. And we get to the nursing home, and that was the longest walk of my life. That was the longest walk of my life. My legs felt so like jello. Like, I just, Jesus. Like, that was the longest walk ever. And we get in there, and I look at my mom, and she wasn't my complexion. She was a little bit lighter than me, but she looked gray. She started to look gray. But she was still warm. So, so I just sat there. Like, when I first saw her, I fell to the ground because I couldn't believe that she was really gone. Mm-hmm. And when I touched her hand, it just felt limp. Like, it was awful. And they helped me up, give me in a chair, and I'm just sitting there, and I couldn't believe that she was gone. Like, and the hospice lady, crazy enough, like a couple days prior to this, the hospice lady came to my job, had me sign paperwork and everything, and it's not clicking that she's getting ready to piece up out of here. Never clicked, right? Because I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, we'll do this. She'll be at peace, but you're still taking care of her. But my aunt later was like, no, when you start hospice papers, they pretty much put them on morphine and let them peacefully go. And I didn't know that. I'm like, what, 24, 20, almost 25, I didn't know. So, so I'm sitting there, and the hospital lady that was there was like, she didn't die alone. She, it was peaceful. And I'm hearing that, but I don't care because, okay, I wasn't here. You know what I mean? So it doesn't matter. I'm glad you were there, but she didn't know you. So, no.
What'd you say?
I had to blow my nose. Sorry.
Yeah, you're fine. You're fine. You're fine. You do what you need to do.
So sitting there, and eventually I just put my head on her chest, and I literally like her. I don't know if you remember what my mom looked like, but she was a chesty lady, right? So like her chest, that was like the comfort zone, right? You know, so I was laying on her chest, and all I felt was bone. That hurt. And I literally laid there and felt her go from warm to cold. That was hard too. Like, but I didn't care because that was the last time I was gonna be able to do that with my mom.
Right.
So, you know, I couldn't get in the bed with her, but I definitely laid on her chest until she got cold. And then I remember sitting there in the chair, and I was just in the midst of all this, like, I think Ryan had called his mom. His mom was trying to call my church to see if somebody can come down from my church. The nursing home was telling me, well, what are you going to do with the body? Because at this point, she goes from patient to body, as insensitive as that is, right? So they're like, well, what are you going to do with the body? Because we have to clear the bed because there's another person coming in a couple hours.
Yeah, I know how it is.
So I'm like, I don't know. I haven't thought about a funeral home, a coroner. I don't know. So thankfully, someone from my church worked for a funeral home. So I called her like, can you get somebody here now? Because I don't know what else I'm going to do. I can't leave with a body. I don't know what the hell to do.
Right.
So in the midst of all of that, I'm just sitting there and I'm in between tears and I'm just looking up, and this will sound strange, but I saw like my mom's spirit. Saw my mom's spirit. She looked normal. She looked healthy, happy. She was all in white. She had her hair up. Like, she looked gorgeous.
Yeah.
And she was just like, I was tired. You know, I know that you'll be okay. I love you. I'm always here with you. And it gave me comfort for in that moment, right? And it still kind of does, now, but it's not the same. It's just not the same. And after that, I mean, we had a memorial, like everything worked itself out. We got a place, that could have everybody cremated. I couldn't afford a funeral. So we just did a cookout, I made a DVD. We had it playing, people came, like, it was cool, right? But I didn't care. Like, to be completely honest, I didn't care. We released balloons. Okay. You know what I mean? Me and my aunt was, as much as me and her bump heads, my aunt was my road dog because she helped me put everything together. She helped me figure stuff out. She helped me do it with my job. She just, out of my entire family, my mom has 3 brothers and a sister. She was the only one that was there. And she just, and to this day, like, she's still the only one that's there. You know what I mean? So she's my road dog. And it was funny because during the picnic, like, we were there, but we weren't there. So she was sitting in the lawn chair smoking a joint. Like, all right, so when this is over, when is this over, kind of deal. And and I remember me and her was talking about that. Like, after that day, we were just like, I mean, we were there, but so, like, you know what I mean? This was for everybody else. This wasn't for us. Not really. Because she's gone. She's who we need. You know what I mean? But after that, honestly, the next maybe, she's been gone 8 years. I'll say the next 5 years was a blur because I wasn't really with it. Like, grief is a bitch. Grief sucks. Like, I commend my husband because I don't know how he stayed because I was a mess. And I know I was a mess. He still proposed to me and everything. We got married in the middle of all this, and I'm just like, you sure you want to marry this? Because I'm not nearly the person I was when we first got together. I'm not. Like, But I'm glad that we were engaged for a while, because he got to literally see me go through the motions and figure stuff out. And he had to give me a wake-up call, like, I love you, but I will leave because I need you to try. Because I wasn't trying, wasn't getting ready for work, wasn't cleaning the house, wasn't doing anything. I was just laying in the bed.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a lot better now than I was then, but I definitely still have my days.
Yeah.
I definitely wish that I could just have a conversation with her and my dad. Oddly enough, like, losing her, I started to re-grieve for my dad too.
Right.
Because now it's like, okay, well, I don't have anybody. What the hell do you do with that? You know what I mean? I'm not close with my relatives. I've got, aunts and uncles on both sides, but they weren't close. They're not close now. Like, so what do you do? My friends are dope, but it's not the same.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. It hurts like a bitch. And I don't know if I'll ever really stop grieving. I know I'll never stop missing her.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've, in my own therapies, I have a therapist. I had to. I almost had a mental breakdown, like, mid in those 5 years where I really just wasn't. I felt myself getting ready to snap, because I would go into work when I wanted to. I would say whatever the hell I wanted to say. I had such an attitude that I was pissed. Like, I didn't really know that I was pissed. It was like an out-of-body experience. So in the midst of all that, I felt like I was getting ready to lose it. And I was just like, okay, God, I don't know what I'm about to do. I know I can't do this. I know that. I know I can't keep living like this. I don't even know what this is. I just know I can't keep doing it. Like, something's got to shift, move, change, something. So I found me a therapist. I love her to pieces. My God, she's definitely saved my life. And she helped me work through a lot of stuff and just reaffirm stuff for me. Let me know I'm a lot tougher than I give myself credit for, stuff like that. But I don't know. It just, I don't want to feel this heaviness all the time. I'm never going to stop missing her. I know that.
Yeah.
That'll never go away. But I feel like my life stopped. And I feel like I'm living life, but not like I want to. And I feel like losing her was a big part of that. Because I just feel like I'm stuck. I feel like I'm stuck, and I don't know how to get unstuck. And I feel like a part of that is why I feel fearful of starting new things, why I feel like, because I don't, all I know is what sadness feels like. All I know is what stress feels like in a negative way. You know what I mean? Like, I hate feeling stuck. But I'm comfortable. This is going to sound so fucked up, but I feel comfortable in feeling that way because I'm used to feeling that way.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine not feeling that way.
Yeah. Especially without your mom, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And there's almost a little bit of guilt with it, because it's like, well, how am I supposed to do this? And I can't call her and tell her, well, guess what? I did this, I did that. Like, I graduated from Sinclair and I didn't feel it. Like, I was happy. Yeah. But it wasn't enough. Yeah. You know what I mean? It was like, okay, check, next. Like, all right. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. I hope that makes sense. I feel like
no, you didn't. Thank you. That was the realest shit ever. Thank you so much for being so vulnerable and honest. Yeah. And telling your story.
Yeah. Immature. I hate to cry. Like, my best friend said, we hate crying. We always talk about crying for suckers, right?
Hell nah.
So my therapist has been telling me, like, nah, it's not. You need to cry. You need to get your life. So
you got to release that stuff.
Yeah. So
Man,
yeah,
so
that's my story.
it sounds like it's just a constant heaviness, and like there's no amount of pure joy without that
Yeah.
presence of your mom being around.
Yeah.
Like that sadness is deep.
Yeah. Like my heart's broke.
Yeah, real shit.
Yeah.
Wow, this is an honor. This is an honor to help you release some of the sadness that you got on you. Now, in this technique, I'm gonna give you some prompts, but I really want to tell you them now so you can have them, so you like are aware of them. All right.
Mm-hmm.
The prompts I'm gonna give you are: number one, for sadness, is when it comes to loss, what is something positive and empowering that you learn from that person or animal that can help you carry on their legacy in an amazing way forever?
Okay.
Once again, what is something positive and empowering that you learn from that person or animal that can help you carry on their legacy in an amazing way forever? And that helps a lot with the sadness. That helps a lot because you're not focusing on those darker events. You're focusing more on the lighter events and how you have that responsibility of carrying on your mom's legacy in an amazing way. You know what I mean? Through everything that you do and everything who you are. So that's one of the first prompts. The next prompts, they have to deal with just general things, all general things. Okay. Number one is hurt people hurt people. Number two is that we're all doing the best that we can with the resources and consciousness that we have. That's including you and everybody else. Next thing is we can't control anyone else's actions, but we can control our response. We can grow stronger and wiser, you know? So anything that you've done or I'm sorry, anything that someone else has done as far as to hurt you or just someone else has done to make you sad, you can learn from their mistakes or you can learn from what they've done. And also we're better people than we were when those events occurred, especially yourself. You feel me? So just thank you so much for telling your story. I'm so honored. Like real talk. I can't, like, you could take all the money in the world and it wouldn't be worth anything compared to somebody's trust. And I just appreciate you so much. Like real talk. And you're brave. You're brave. How brave are you to say this? Like to tell, like to rip yourself open in front of like all these people. Like I'm gonna put this everywhere. You know what I mean? YouTube, and Facebook.
Oh, Lord.
I know, right? Anywhere you can hear a podcast. You know, and I just know that this is gonna go down as one of the realest fucking episodes ever right here because of what you've gone through and what you said and how much you felt, how much you helped how much you made me feel. Like real talk. So let's get some of this, let's get this sadness off your shoulders a bit, yeah? So once again, is it all right with your unconscious mind for you to release the sadness today and for you to be aware of it consciously?
My unconscious doesn't really have a choice because I'm ready to let it go.
I know that's right. Move out the way, unconscious.
Right. I got things to do. So.
All right, here we go. What is the root cause of this problem? The first event, which when disconnected, will cause this problem to disappear. If you were to know, when was the first time that you felt sadness between the ages of birth and 7? How old were you?
Birth and 7.
How old were you when you first felt sadness?
5 or 6, whatever grade, when I was in kindergarten. That's how I remember it. So like 5.
That's 5, yeah. All right. Do you have a specific event like you can see?
Yeah, actually
okay.
I do.
Okay. So, hey, go ahead. Do you mind telling us about it?
When I was in kindergarten, it was my first couple days of school, and I was being teased because I had a really bad stutter. It's a lot better now, but I had a really, really bad stutter. And I was getting teased because of my stutters. I was trying to get into the door because I went to this Catholic school and we had these really big, heavy iron doors.
Yeah.
And I was trying to open it, and there were these two white kids that are like a grade above me teasing me, and it made me feel like crap. I got teased. I got bullied. I remember getting spit in the face at that school. Like, yeah.
Yeah, kids. kids can be douchebags.
Most definitely. It kind of turned me into a douchebag when I was like 8 years old. Like, it was a whole thing.
Wow.
Because hurt people. So yeah.
Look at you already with the philosophizing. All right. So let's go ahead and take all that good energy and let's go ahead and close our eyes. Close your eyes and relax. And let me know when you're ready for this process.
About to blow my nose. Hold on. If I can breathe.
Go for it.
Forward.
Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. She's blowing her nose.
Like nose blowing out. Is that a thing? Because I think that sounds disgusting.
I'm sorry. You sound like you were just talking through a paper towel. What'd you say?
See? Okay, so I was asking, like, is there a way to edit out nose blowing?
Oh no, this is raw. This is raw. Oh wait, what?
Oh, well, John, sorry.
That's hilarious.
Okay. All right. I'm back to this.
The realest.
Okay.
All right. Go ahead and close your eyes and relax.
Okay.
And let me know when you're ready for the process.
I'm ready.
All right. We're going to go ahead and use this imagination right here, right now. And you're just going to imagine floating outside of your body and hovering over yourself and looking at yourself from a third-person point of view. I want you to see yourself with your yellow shirt and your gold chain and the screen in front of you with your hair up. You have lamps around you, some doors behind you. Let me know when you see yourself from a third-person point of view.
I see myself.
Okay, now just imagine floating deeper and deeper into the past, above that first event in which you felt sad when you were just a little girl in kindergarten.
I'm there.
All right, now as you look at yourself from a third-person point of view, hovering above that little girl, ask your unconscious mind what it needs to learn from the event, the learning of which will allow you to let go of the emotions easily and effortlessly. Your unconscious mind can preserve the learnings so that if you need them in the future, they'll be there. Just tell your unconscious mind to preserve the learnings. Focus your attention upon how hurt people. We're all doing the best that we can with the resources and consciousness that we have. We can't control anyone else's actions, but we can control our response. We can grow stronger and wiser. And we're better people than we were when those events occurred. This is an exercise of forgiveness and compassion, forgiveness for yourself and others, and compassion for yourself and others. And as you look at that little girl, what is something positive and empowering you can say to yourself and everyone else involved in the event with the consciousness that you have today that will allow the emotions to evaporate like water on the concrete on a hot summer day? And as you preserve these learnings, the emotions are starting to dissipate more and more until they're all gone. Let me know when they're all gone. Take your time.
They're all gone.
Awesome. Now, just imagine floating deeper and deeper into the past, above the dinosaurs. Let me know when you're above the dinosaurs.
Okay.
All right. Now, as you're above the dinosaurs, Just imagine floating deeper and deeper into space, where space and the atmosphere connects. And imagine your timeline is the size of a fingernail. Let me know when you're there.
I'm in space.
And as you float there, weightless, ask yourself, now, where are the emotions? Tell me, are they there or have they disappeared? Now.
They're gone.
Awesome. Float down inside the event, seeing through your own eyes, and check on the emotions. Tell me, are they there or have they disappeared? Now.
Yeah, they're gone.
Awesome. Float back above the dinosaurs and then float into space where space and the atmosphere connects. Let me know when you're there.
I'm there.
All right. Listen closely. Float high above each and every event in which you felt sadness from birth until now in chronological order. Don't skip any events. Preserve the learnings and let go of all the sadness all the way back to now. Go. You got this. When it comes to loss, what is something positive and empowering you learn from that person or animal that can help you carry on their legacy in an amazing way forever? Focus your attention upon how hurt people hurt people. We're all doing the best that we can with the resources and consciousness that we have. We can't control anyone else's actions, but we can control our response. We can grow stronger and wiser. And we're better people than we were when those events occurred. That's right. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. That is crazy. That's crazy.
Welcome back.
That's crazy.
Feel good, don't it?
Yeah, I feel lighter.
Right? You can't get all
Yeah.
that baggage, girl.
Yeah.
Right? You
Yeah.
were feeling heavy, now you feel a little lighter.
Yeah. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. Wow. Whew.
All right. What color is your shirt?
Yellow.
All right. Do you smell biscuits?
No.
Okay.
No. I don't smell biscuits. I don't smell toast. Not tasting copper. I'm okay.
Where did that come from? What was that?
You know, some people say if you're about to have a stroke, like your taste
Oh,
copper or something.
no, silly. That is a technique that I use to get your mind off of the meditation, to break your state.
Yeah. I really broke in talking about copper.
No. Hey, you taught me something though. So so silly. Can you remember a time in the past in which you used to feel that old emotion? And go back and notice if you can feel it, or you may find that you cannot.
I remember the event, but I don't feel sad about it.
Yeah. Go ahead and dwell on that a little bit. What you mean?
So I remember, being teased, but at the end of the day, they didn't know me. I didn't know them. I was different from what they knew. So you get teased, but it is what it is. Like I can't hold on to that. You know what I mean?
Those kids ain't think about you no more.
Right, at all. Like, don't even remember my face. Like, it's fine. Yeah.
What about your mom and dad?
it's there. It's
Yeah.
not as bad.
Yeah.
But I'd rather them be in heaven and not in pain and not suffering and not being how I remember them than being here and suffering and not being able to live life like how I want them to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So that's different from how was the feeling, like the visceral feeling? Did you feel it release? I heard you gave a couple.
Yeah.
Like you were getting a
did.
massage.
I did. Like I visualized seeing my dad like with the tubes and stuff, but I knew that he was sick, so he was getting what he needed, and it wasn't enough. So God called him home. You know, but I know that he was tough. You know what I mean? And him and my mom both, like, they fought till they couldn't fight anymore. And they put that kind of fight in me. So that gives me peace. You know. Mommy is a little bit rougher, I'm not gonna lie. But my mom's caring behavior, caring nature, I should say, and how tough she was and everything, and her own grief, losing my dad, stuff like that, like that resonates with me a lot. And I know that she wouldn't want me dwelling, neither would my dad would want me dwelling on them not being here, because then I'm missing out on what I have in front of me and what I need to do and want to do and stuff like that. So, yeah.
Real talk. Like when you were saying, what do I have left? You know, or who do I have left?
Yeah.
I was like, man, you got love, yo. Like a lot of folks out here ain't got the type of love that you got. Like you got literally a dude that's down for you through the thickest of thick. And
right.
Like that's a lot to be grateful for.
Definitely.
That's a heck of a lot. You know, like
yeah.
Love is a strong force, and you saw what it could get you through, and what you guys already going through the death of your mom, and still making it till you got married.
Yeah.
I mean, wow, you guys can make it through literally anything.
Yeah, we've already been through death, like
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
right.
He jumped me like 4 flat tires, for real.
100%. Like
for real.
Flats on the Cadillac. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Hold on, let me see. So, how often do you meditate?
Ooh, I was meditating at least 3 times a week. Now, I kind of fell off. So me getting back to that actually is part of the goal.
Yeah, real talk.
Yeah. So I guess like now maybe once a month if I can calm my mind down enough to do it. But I definitely am trying to do more just to feel more centered, because I was doing it every day at one point. So. Yeah.
So how was this process for you then, with you being a meditator and everything?
Peaceful. Harder than emotionally, a little bit harder than I thought. Even I don't really know what I thought, but peaceful. Because right now I just feel peace. Yeah.
Can you describe that feeling of peace a little bit? Like you said earlier about how like you wouldn't want your mom and her caring nature, and your dad and his toughness, and that gives you peace. But like from that feeling of heaviness to lightness, that type of peace. Can you describe that?
Right now, current state, it just feels calm. Like I don't feel good or bad. I just feel, you know what I mean? Like I don't know if that makes sense. I just like, okay.
I think that's a word in the dictionary.
I just don't feel heavy. Like right now, it just feels nice. It's calm. It's cool. It's peace.
Mm.
Yeah.
How will this affect you later on in the future? What do you see this doing for you later on in the future?
It's something I can tap into. Definitely. Like taking myself out of myself. If that makes sense, looking down on myself like, okay, so this is what I see. Okay, girl. So trying to get back to some kind of peace, to come back to center. Yeah, this is definitely something I can see myself doing. Might have to call you like, yo, can you give me those prompts again?
Anytime. No.
But yeah, very cool. I gotta say, it's very cool.
And also that feeling of being lighter. How is that going? Like without that baggage from your mom, and you just feeling like you're just stuck. How is that feeling of being stuck now? Like I know that it's really early within the process, and that you're just like getting used to not having that old perspective. But how do you think that's gonna affect you in the future?
It's something I'll have to continue to meditate on to continue to feel this way. I'll say that because like right now, I feel good. Tomorrow, I'll feel good. In about a week, you know what I mean? Like going to work and work stressors and, life and stuff like that, I feel a little heavy again. So it's something that I'll have to meditate on and remember this feeling and re-tap into that so that I can keep going forward.
Yeah.
Definitely.
The perspective that you have now is different, and you can't go back to that old perspective. Right. So make sure that after this, you write down the learnings that you got, and just keep them around. You know what I mean? So you can always tap back into that as well. That toughness and that caring. That those things that are embedded into your DNA.
Yeah.
That's, and of course, like we've already discussed, we're going to work together too. So it's but yeah, I do feel you. Like it's not just, this is a tool. It's not a one-time process.
Right.
But it's effective.
Yes, it is. I can definitely say it's effective. And it's more effective because I don't want it anymore. I don't want those feelings anymore. Yeah. So it's more effective when you kind of already have that mindset going in. At least for me. I can't speak for everybody else, but for me, yeah.
For people that have never done this, how would you describe the process?
Vulnerable. It's not hard, but it's not easy, if that makes sense, depending on where you are with it. Like, I've been holding on to this for 8 years. So at this point, I've already kind of pre-done some work. And so now it's like, okay, I need to let go of this lingering stuff, and being aware. So it kind of depends on where you are when you choose to do this. Because if you're not really there at that point, it's going to be a little bit harder. You might not find it as effective. If I'm being completely honest. Real talk. But if you're really ready to let it go, this is effective. Yeah. And then you can always tap back into it because you know that this is how you want to feel, and you know that this is how you can feel. So it works.
It's crazy. Yeah. And like, did you find like of course the part about actually looking at the scenarios, looking at the situations is hardest.
Yeah.
Any other thing that was hard about it? How was your, like, I mean, obviously you're a meditator, so the concentration must have been on point. Was anything else like hard about it?
Wanting to let it go, because I felt my subconscious was like, you know, like that tug was there, but I'm like, no, like I have to let it go. Like when I started to like to cry in the middle of it, like for real, like that was that tug. Like I'm not really ready to let this go. But when I stopped crying, it's like, no, we gotta let this go. Like it's okay to let it go. And I know I have to keep telling myself that when it tries to creep back in, because it will, because that's just like that's your subconscious. It does that, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's okay to let it go. And then you don't have to let it back in. You can say no to those emotions, you know, and focus on the peace that I feel now, which is cool.
Yeah, because like you said, you were used to feeling that way. You know what I mean? So now it's like
there's comfort in feeling sadness, like, which is such a mind trip for real. But when you get stuck and you feel that way 24/7, 365 times 3, 4, you know what I mean? Like you really do get a comfort into it. Yeah. And it's time to stop feeling comfortable in that and find comfort in finding you're happy and being in peace.
So it's a time to break habits. Breaking the habits and changing your it's easier than you think, but it's I'm kidding, sort of, but like that's what it's going to be. It's going to be breaking the patterns that you had before. Like we've already done so with this exercise, but now it's like time to do things different throughout your day to help you appreciate and stay in that place of gratitude. Staying in that place of gratitude will help you manifest and feel the way you want to with whatever you want. Yeah,
definitely. I'm curious to see how tomorrow morning's going to wake up. And I'm like, okay, so are we going to try to go for a walk, depending on the weather, because I don't walk when it's cold. I'm sorry. Or just stretching, you know what I mean? Or just doing something that is more healthy besides just getting up and feeling like, oh my God, it's the morning and I hate mornings. That kind of thing, you know?
Yeah, real talk. And it's you can create whatever. That's the exciting part. You can create whatever you want. Like it's like you literally saw yourself go from one state to the exact
another one.
So we know it's all up here. So you can decide to get into
how I want to feel.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
It's trippy.
That's cool. It's very trippy. Very trippy.
Hey, Tasha, you're the realist. And I thank you so much. And you're the best.
Thank you. I appreciate you really reaching out because this was random, but I was like, oh, okay, sure. I don't know what I just said okay to.
Like you wouldn't mind ripping yourself open for like a few thousand,
couple 100,000 people. It's fine. Whatever.
Like I said though, you're gonna be a blessing. Like for people that hear your story and that are going through the same thing that you're going through, you're gonna be a blessing because they'll see that they can feel a different way about and that they can grieve in a different way. Yeah. And can you come back on like later on, like so we can see a before and after, not just like now, but like of course it's like now it's like fresh, right?
Right.
But I want to see the one where later on you're like, oh yeah, I get this, did that.
Yeah.
You do that?
Yeah, I'll do that. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Of course.
I appreciate it. All right. Well, let's close us out. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Tasha, you're the shit. I can't let you know how much I really appreciate this.
Of course.
From the bottom of my heart, real talk. And I can't let you guys know how I appreciate you guys and your support. You guys listening to this conversation. And Tasha's also going to be releasing Sadness and Fear. And if you are thinking about doing this, please contact me so I can lead you through this. I can lead you through it correctly. All right. Don't do this on your own. But you guys, thank you guys so much. Take care of yourself out there and take care of one another. Anything else you want to tell the people, Tosh?
Do the process, do the work. Drop that baggage, it's heavy.
Hey, peace out.